Again, thank you for coming. My name is Vinny Ventresca, and I'm the president of the Buffalo Professional Firefighters, IAFF Local 282. The Buffalo Professional Firefighters would like to express our deepest sympathy to the family of firefighter Jason Arnault. We are here for you. Words cannot describe this tragedy, and we are devastated. To my Local 282 family, I know we'll come together to love and support each other, as we always do. To the citizens of Buffalo and Western New York, we thank you for your outpouring of support. We know we can count on the members of our community to be there for us. Please know that the members of Local 282 are honored to serve you. To our firefighter brothers and sisters from across the country and around the world, thank you. The outpouring of love and support has been overwhelming. To the PBA brothers and sisters in Western New York, especially to our brothers and sisters here in Buffalo, thank you for your support. I would like to share with you some information for anyone who would like to donate to the Arnault family. Local 282 has set up an account for donations. Checks can be made out to Buffalo Professional Firefighters and sent here to our office, 500 Southside Parkway, Buffalo, New York, 14210. We will also be setting up a Zelle and Venmo account bearing those names. All the information will be shared on our social media on buffaloprofessionalfirefighters.org and at our Facebook page. So I can take some questions.
It's been over 10 years since Buffalo Fire Department experienced some kind of line of duty death. Can you explain or reflect on how this affects the Buffalo Fire Department family?
Well, first and foremost, it's obviously devastating to the members to lose one of their own in such a tragic way. As well, one of the points is that at this point we have the 2009 class was just starting when Lieutenant Chip McCarthy and firefighter Jonathan Kroom were lost. So we have had since that time over 10 classes. The vast majority of the department has never suffered this type of tragedy, and I think that it's just awful, and we're going to have to deal with it. And with coordination between ourselves and the city, we're going to be doing a lot of peer counseling and doing everything we can to serve all the members. With technology now, obviously there's a lot of video circulating, there's audio of the radio transmissions, and when members, whether they're on duty or not, hear those things, it's just awful, and see those things and know that, you know, it could be them. It's heavy burden.
Whether it was you or someone within the union, can you describe the type of person that firefighter Arnault was and his commitment to 3 years with the department?
He was a well-liked firefighter. For myself, I met him numerous times and had the pleasure of working with him a few times, and I can just see his face, and it's just that smile, and he was always a great guy to be around. And obviously he worked at Engine 21 for a period of time, and then I think he was on the rescue for a small bit, and then he ended up at Engine 2, which is one of our busiest, if not busiest, companies in the city. He obviously shows his dedication, and he wanted to be a part of and be in the action, and so he was an excellent person. You know,
a lot of people say, obviously we've learned that building was getting renovated. There weren't really people occupying, was it a large office building or whatnot. These firefighters, as well as Jason Arnault, just went in there knowing that there could be someone in there. I mean, this is not a sense of they're looking at if the building is occupied or not. Every single day, and still to this day, this hour, they're just continuing to go into these buildings. Can you reflect on that, of the commitment?
Yes, I mean, the big thing is that our main goal is to put the fire out and save property and save lives. And there was no question that the members were going to go in. And in this situation, it was just rapid fire spread, and I don't think there was even an understanding. As well, building of that structure is not our usual fire. You know, we're used to fighting fires in residential homes, 2.5-story frames, and this is a large warehouse, 3-story, commercial grade, and things just went south.
Vinny, can you, even though, as you said, you don't fully know everything that happened, but looking back, a lot of firefighters do die in collapses. From your perspective, is there anything for training or anything that can be done try to help these firefighters sometimes cope in these situations or know certain procedures, or is everything being done to the best of your knowledge that they can do?
Well, I believe that the standard operating procedure for this type of fire was followed, and that the members did everything that they were supposed to do, and the command staff was on scene rapidly and moving people around, and sometimes bad things just happen. And I'm not even certain that collapse was the cause here, so I can't speak to it.
What is the money being used for that people can donate to?
Just for the family, just because of the tragic loss and the suddenness of it and the unpreparedness. I mean, this is a young member on the department, new to the department, newly married, young child, and there's just, you know, even people who've been on the department a long time aren't always prepared for this immediate and sudden loss, even though it is part of our job. So we're just trying to raise some funds for the family and do anything we can to support our member, and that's why we're asking if. Again, there's just been such an outpouring, so we just want to have a direct avenue for people to make donations, so there's no nothing other than that. That's why we're taking the
What
donations.
do you anticipate in terms of the memorial service? I mean, I heard you on the phone, it's still being planned.
Right.
But do you anticipate, and also, if you could talk, you mentioned you're hearing from firefighters around the country, apparently.
Yes.
What has that been like? Who are you hearing from? And what do you expect we could see in some kind of memorial service for this fallen firefighter?
Well, obviously, we're working with the family, and we respect their wishes as far as how we're going to handle the services. In a case like this, the union, we are going to do the full line of duty death honors that this member should be afforded. One of the things is Buffalo is a large local in size compared with locals across the country. We're one of the big locals in the country. So obviously, when we have fallen firefighters anywhere in the country passing, we have an opportunity, because we're a large local, to send our members to honor the fallen across the country. So obviously, when we have something happen tragically in our city, we'll have an outpouring of support, and I assume there's going to be firefighters, again, from all over the world and the country coming here to pay their respects to this firefighter and his family.
Do we have a date and location as of right now?
No idea yet.
You've mentioned the risk firefighters take every day. The Buffalo Fire slogan is "so others may live." Can you talk a little bit about what that means every day when they suit up and don't know what to expect going into their job?
Yes, the thing is with firefighting is part of the job, and part of what makes it a great job is that you never know what your day is going to bring. We show up for work. The members love this job. They love serving the citizens, and again, we don't know what we're coming up against. We don't know. And in this case, when they got on scene, there was nothing showing. So they didn't know until they got involved with it that it was going to be this dramatic of a fire. So, but every day the members are out there and putting their gear on and going on calls and doing everything they can to serve the citizens.
You kind of briefly touched on it, but so you don't have any like equipment or policy concerns about how this happened? You think it was just kind of like an accident or something very tragic?
I really, again, we really don't know, have any of the details yet, and so to speak on it is it's too early to talk about it.
Do they share all that with you? Did they
well,
the investigation?
Obviously, there'll be a full report done, and we'll be a part of it. And we've already been contacted by government agencies. Like there'll be, because of the line of duty death, there'll be a full investigation, and I believe that'll all be public information and information, since our members are going to be heavily involved with the investigation, that we're going to be privy to. So.
And just to
Who does
follow
that?
up on some,
That investigation, I'm sorry.
Well, I was contacted by PESH from New
Okay.
York State, and but I think there's other organizations as well. I know our International Association of Firefighters will want to be involved with it. There's many entities that want to make sure, what happened, what went wrong, what can we do right in the future to be preventative after the fact. So.
and just to follow up on something you mentioned earlier, is there a reason leading you to believe the collapse wasn't the cause of death?
Honestly, I don't know. Just because they were able to, once the fire was tenable and they could get into the structure and it was safe to do so, and collect the downed firefighter, he wasn't buried. So that, and again, I shouldn't even say that. That's to my knowledge. You
You mentioned how triggering sounds and videos can be. I know we at Channel 7 are making the decision not to show certain videos as it is triggering to our community and who we serve. Things are being shared on social media. Do you have a message to the public? Firefighters are part of this community. Their spouses are a about sharing video of that backdraft that could affect some of the staff?
I think the thing is in today's society, and it's interesting to share that because not only to the members, but I know just we did our own video for our ball this past year, and I know that it bothers my family when they see these fires and they see these horrific events that we are at over and over and over, and so the idea that that's just today's society, that videos are shown horrific things, and when people aren't connected to it and you can just press a button and share a video or watch a video that doesn't affect your life in any way, it's just where we are in society today. So
you mentioned that there's going to be some peer-to-peer counselling. Is there any other support for the firefighters that's being offered right now?
Well, yeah, so it's nice. We have coordination with the city. We have a union employee assistance program coordinator. The city has one, and they work in conjunction with each other, which is excellent. And we also are bringing in the International Association of Firefighters peer counseling team, and we're going to meet with all the firefighters tomorrow who are on duty, the first assignment companies, and they won't be on duty. And we'll meet with them tomorrow and start the debriefing process. And then, of course, because of the investigation that follows, there's just going to be a lot of discussing and talking. And as a family, and that's really what we are here at 282, we pull together and we check up on each other and calling and talking and meeting out, and we do all the things that we need to do to make sure people are all right.
As those fire crews remain out of service, do the other municipalities in the area and even Rochester take over some of the services?
No. So we're not going to have companies out of service at all tomorrow. What we'll have is the first in assignment companies will be backfilled by our own members, and we haven't ever had the necessity to bring in companies from outside the city. So.
What was that, the International Firefighters that providing the... International
Association of Firefighters, which is the international union, which Local 282 is a part of. They will be sharing we have peer counselors already being sent.
At a time like this, the members of Engine Company 2, I know you can't, I'm not going to ask you to say how they're feeling. We know how they're feeling. But are they able to go back to work? Do you have to compartmentalize? That's what the former fire commissioner said to us yesterday. You got to compartmentalize. You still got to do your job.
Right.
But how difficult having this in the back of your head? If you could speak for them, what would you say?
I'd say for me, they're having dealt with multiple line of duty deaths in my career. The first part is the tragic part, and the part that it just is devastating to you. And then the other part is there's nowhere that you'd rather be than with your crew and with your team and back to work. And part of the problem is that when you're going on that next call, when you have that next fire, you're going to have to, you're going to be thinking about it. You just are. And it just, over time, these things wane, and hopefully anything that doesn't, you're getting the help you need. I mean, that is the good thing about kind of the change in culture, is that firefighters are able to, and there is so much more of a ability now to reach out to get help, and it's not as it used to be frowned upon, but now we have so much more of an open dialogue about mental health and about caring for each other. And so I know that, yes, it's difficult to get back on the horse, but once guys and girls, they get back in the firehouse and they're with their team, they're going to want to just keep going on calls and being together. Like, that's really where you want to be. That's why, like, tomorrow we'll bring them all in as crews, and not just say you don't have to come to work. We're bringing them in as crews. We're going to do a stress debriefing with them, and then have them, together as a team in small groups, and work on, the things they need. And then, at such time, then we'll release them to go home. So
going forward with the donations, and then even just looking past that, how do you continue to support his family? We know the mayor mentioned he was a young father. How do you support families going forward in even years from now?
Well, I'd say that we continue. There's so many, if you look at like the last tragedy that we have, the crewman McCarthy, that we still gather at the site year after year. And there's still that idea that we never forget our fallen brothers and sisters. We had the anniversary of the explosion, same thing. And then the idea being that thankfully in New York State, the benefits and things for fallen firefighters is enough that at least she'll be okay. So that's why the donations, and there's all other grants to the federal government. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that her and his wife and his daughter are taken care of forever.
I spoke to Jonathan Kroom's mother back when it was the 10th anniversary of his passing, and she expressed the first thing that she said was her biggest fear is that he'll be forgotten. What does the union do to make sure that kind of stuff doesn't happen?
Well, I think it shows just the fact that, and she does carry a big torch for that, and and we appreciate that, and we just continue to, it never dies because we continue to talk about the tragedies that have happened in Buffalo, and when the next tragedy comes, we are discussing the old tragedies, and we do everything we can, and we have a really good relationship with our retirees group, and we have a once-a-year outing, and we just get together and talk about the department and the things that have gone on over the years, and we just try to carry on, and with the understanding that, no one's going to forget firefighter Jason Arnault in March 1st.
Penny, can you just kind of talk a little bit more about, you kind of mentioned Jason was very likable, just a little bit more about, his personality, characteristics that really kind of showed who he was?
Sadly, I had interacted with him. I didn't know him that well, but from what I know and from seeing, again, the interactions that we did have, he's just an upbeat, positive person, great guy. Again, the smile on his face all the time. So happy to be a firefighter, so happy to be working at busy companies, wanting to do the job to the best of his ability. Obviously, there was no question about his bravery. He was willing to sacrifice. So, it's a powerful message that all the members know that, everyone's out there doing the best they can and putting their life on the line for the citizens.
Are you able to say if he was from a firefighting family? Was it a tradition?
I'm not sure. Anybody?
A lot of you are.
Firefighting family?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. That's a whole other part of it, is that he's part of our firefighting family now. So.
Just saying the tradition.
Yes, I'm not. I don't believe so.
Understand.
She was mentioning the past events that have happened where there has been loss of life, and you've learned from those things too. Lessons have been learned, policies have changed. Do you expect anything different after this one? You were saying you don't tend to go to commercial buildings, right? Is that something, maybe more training involving that? Do you see something like that?
I think the first part is a detailed investigation will happen, and then we'll see what comes out of that, and from there, hopefully there'll be some, take a long, hard look at it and see how we're doing things, and if we need to make changes, the changes will be made.
Could you also talk about what happens next? And the purple and black bunting has gone up at the station house. If you'd explain, what are the traditions that happen next?
I was going to say, right now we're really in the preliminaries, but just the idea that we're going to take some time as the union and the firefighting family and, take care of the members who are still here, take care of his family to the best of our ability, and then make preparations to give him the full honor of a line of duty death and go from there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.